Huo Yuanjia was born in 1868 in the quiet rural village of Xiaonanhe, near Tianjin in northern China. His birth came at a time when China was facing one of the darkest periods in its long history. The Qing dynasty was weakening, foreign powers were forcing humiliating agreements upon the nation, and Chinese ports and cities were slowly falling under outside control. The country that once stood at the center of civilization now struggled with invasion, corruption, and loss of confidence. Ordinary people lived with poverty and fear, while the spirit of the nation felt broken. It was within this painful historical moment that Huo Yuanjia's life began. He was born into a family known for its martial tradition. His father, Huo Endi, was a highly respected master of Mizongquan, also known as lost track fist. This style was famous for its unpredictable movements, deceptive footwork, and sudden changes that confused opponents. Huo Endi made his living as an armed escort, protecting merchant caravans traveling dangerous trade routes where bandits were common. His profession demanded courage, discipline, and absolute control, and his reputation earned him respect far beyond his village. Yet despite being surrounded by martial training from birth, Huo Yuanjia was not allowed to participate. As a child, he was weak, sickly, and often short of breath. He suffered from asthma and had little physical strength. His father feared that martial arts training would worsen his condition or even kill him. Believing he was protecting his son, Huo Endi strictly forbade him from learning kung fu and ordered him to focus only on education and literature. For young Huo Yuanjia, this decision felt like rejection. In a society where physical strength and martial ability were deeply tied to honor and respect, being considered unfit left him emotionally wounded. He watched from a distance as his father trained students and taught his older brothers. He listened to the sound of fists striking air and feet hitting the ground, knowing that world was closed to him. Over time, this quiet exclusion planted a deep determination inside him. Without his father's knowledge, Huo Yuanjia began to train on his own. At night, when the household slept, he practiced the movements he had memorized by watching others. He trained slowly and carefully, aware of his fragile health. He focused on breathing, balance, and control rather than brute force. His progress was gradual, but with time, his body grew stronger and his illness became less severe. Martial arts became more than physical training. They became his personal battle against weakness, fear, and self-doubt. As he entered his teenage years, Huo Yuanjia quietly tested his skills in small encounters. His ability surprised those who underestimated him. Still, his father remained unaware of the extent of his training. The distance between them grew, not because of hatred, but because of misunderstanding and silence. Huo Yuanjia respected his father deeply, yet he could not abandon the path he felt destined to follow. Everything changed when Huo Endi became seriously ill and was no longer able to continue his escort work. During this time, a martial artist from another region publicly challenged the Huo family, questioning their reputation and insulting their legacy. With the family's honor at stake and no one willing to step forward, Huo Yuanjia made a decision that would define his life. He accepted the challenge himself. The match shocked everyone. Huo Yuanjia fought with calm control rather than aggression. His movements were precise, efficient, and disciplined. He defeated the challenger without unnecessary violence, restoring his family's honor in front of the entire community. This moment forced his father to confront the truth. Huo Endi finally recognized his son's skill, determination, and inner strength. From that day forward, Huo Yuanjia was accepted as the rightful successor of the family's martial tradition. As word of his ability spread, Huo Yuanjia's reputation grew far beyond his village. This rise came during a period when foreign fighters and strongmen traveled through China, openly mocking Chinese martial arts. Russians, British boxers, and other Western fighters staged public demonstrations, calling the Chinese people weak and inferior. These insults reflected the broader humiliation China was suffering under foreign domination. Huo Yuanjia could not remain silent. He accepted challenges not for wealth or fame, but to defend the dignity of his people. In multiple well-documented incidents, foreign challengers backed down after encountering him, choosing to leave rather than fight. These moments turned Huo Yuanjia into a national symbol. Newspapers reported his name, and common citizens saw him as proof that Chinese strength had not disappeared. Despite his growing fame, Huo Yuanjia was not driven by hatred toward foreigners. With maturity came reflection. He began to understand that martial arts were not meant to humiliate others, but to strengthen the self. True power, he believed, came from discipline, morality, and control. This shift marked a turning point in his philosophy. In 1909, Huo Yuanjia moved to Shanghai, a city that represented both China's suffering and its future. Shanghai was divided into foreign-controlled areas where Chinese authority was limited. Western culture dominated business, education, and public life. Rather than responding with anger, Huo Yuanjia saw opportunity. Together with other martial artists and reformers, he helped establish the Jingwu Physical Culture Association. This organization changed the future of Chinese martial arts. For centuries, martial knowledge had been kept secret within families and clans. Jing Wu broke this tradition by promoting open instruction for the public. Its mission was to strengthen the nation physically and morally, to rebuild confidence through discipline rather than violence. Jing Wu emphasized health, structure, and education. Training was organized, teaching materials were written, and public demonstrations were held. People from all backgrounds were welcomed. For many young Chinese men and women, Jingwu became a place to rediscover pride in their culture during a time of rapid change and uncertainty. Huo Yuanjia stood at the center of this movement. He lived modestly, spoke with humility, and discouraged unnecessary fighting. He taught that martial arts should improve character and serve society. His leadership was not loud or aggressive, but calm and deeply influential. Those around him saw not just a fighter, but a teacher and moral guide. Yet his body remained fragile. Years of intense training combined with childhood illness had weakened his lungs. In 1910, his health declined rapidly. He suffered from severe coughing, exhaustion, and weight loss. Seeking treatment, he turned to both traditional Chinese medicine and Western doctors in Shanghai. This period became the most mysterious chapter of his life. Some believed he was poisoned by those threatened by his influence. Others claimed his condition worsened due to improper medical treatment. At the time, medicines containing arsenic were commonly used in small doses. If administered incorrectly, they could be deadly. No solid evidence has ever proven intentional poisoning, and modern historians largely believe his death resulted from illness combined with medical limitations of the era. On September 14, 1910, Huo Yuanjia passed away at only 42 years old. His death shocked the nation. Thousands attended his funeral, and newspapers across China mourned the loss of a man who had become a symbol of strength, dignity, and hope. After his death, the Jingwu Physical Culture Association continued to expand. It spread throughout China and later to Southeast Asia and other parts of the world. Jingwu helped preserve Chinese martial arts during times of war, revolution, and political upheaval, shaping modern martial culture with values of openness, discipline, and self-respect. Over the years, Huo Yuanjia's life turned into legend. Stories exaggerated his battles and added fictional elements. Films like Fearless introduced him to global audiences, blending truth with dramatic storytelling. While these portrayals captured his spirit, they often simplified his philosophy and struggles. The real Huo Yuanjia was not defined by revenge or violence. He was a man who transformed personal weakness into strength, rejection into purpose, and national humiliation into hope. His greatest achievement was not defeating opponents, but inspiring a generation to believe in themselves. Today, Huo Yuanjia is remembered not only as a martial artist, but as a reformer and a symbol of resilience. His life reminds us that true strength is built through patience, integrity, and self-discipline. His legacy continues wherever martial arts are practiced, not just as combat, but as a path toward inner growth and dignity.